There was a time when humans didn't poison themselves for pleasure. That sounds ridiculous now, because modern civilization practically runs on controlled self-destruction. Billions of people wake up every morning and immediately consume chemicals their own bodies interpret as threats. They burn their mouths for entertainment. They drink compounds that spike their heart rate. They ingest substances that, in almost every other species on Earth, would trigger immediate avoidance behavior. But humans somehow turned these biological warning signals into hobbies. And the strangest part is that we barely question it anymore. Most people think of spicy food, coffee, or alcohol as normal parts of life. Flavor, comfort, culture, personality. But biologically speaking, that's not really what's happening. The experience you call spicy is literally your nervous system reacting to perceived damage. Capsaicin, the chemical in chili peppers, binds to pain receptors designed to detect heat. Your brain receives the message, your mouth is burning. Your body responds exactly the way it would respond to actual fire, sweating, increased heart rate, panic signals, even tears. The pepper isn't trying to entertain you. It evolved specifically to stop animals from eating it. And somehow humans tasted that sensation and thought, interesting. More. Coffee is equally bizarre when you think about it for more than 5 seconds. Caffeine exists because plants needed a defense mechanism against insects. It's a neurotoxin. In small creatures, it disrupts the nervous system badly enough to paralyze or kill them. Humans discovered the seed containing this compound, roasted it, concentrated it, and turned it into a daily ritual. Entire economies now depend on millions of people voluntarily consuming a plant chemical designed to interfere with biological function. Every morning, people say they need coffee, which is an incredibly polite way of saying they've trained their brains to depend on a mild toxin to feel normal. Then there's alcohol, which might be the weirdest example of all. Ethanol is not some magical human invention. It's waste. Yeast produces alcohol during fermentation because it helps eliminate competing microorganisms. In nature, it's essentially biochemical warfare between microbes. Rotting fruit becomes toxic as alcohol concentrations rise. Most animals avoid it. Humans discovered the process thousands of years ago and reacted by building entire civilizations around it. Wine, beer, whiskey, tequila. Human history is basically a timeline of finding increasingly creative ways to consume fermented poison. And it wasn't isolated to one culture either. Humans across the world independently discovered alcohol production. Ancient China fermented rice. Mesopotamians brewed beer. Egyptians mastered wine production. Indigenous civilizations in the Americas created fermented drinks from maize and agave. Different continents. Different time periods. Same species making the exact same decision, this dangerous chemical experience should continue. That's what makes this so fascinating. It's not random. It's universal. Somewhere along the line, humans became the only species that consistently overrides its own survival instincts for recreational chemistry. And maybe that's the key difference between humans and every other animal on Earth. Most species experience pain as a stop sign. Humans experience pain and immediately start turning it into culture. Think about spicy food competitions. Entire restaurants exist solely to challenge customers with sauces strong enough to cause vomiting, hallucinations, or temporary physical collapse. People proudly upload videos of themselves sweating and suffering while eating peppers that evolved specifically to repel mammals. The Carolina Reaper isn't food in any normal biological sense. It's a plant pushing chemical defense mechanisms to the extreme. Yet humans transformed it into entertainment. The same thing happens socially with alcohol and caffeine. Tolerance itself became a flex. I can drink 6 shots. I need 4 espressos just to function. This hot sauce doesn't even affect me. These are not survival advantages in the traditional evolutionary sense. They're signs that the body has adapted to repeated stress exposure. Humans took the ability to endure toxins and somehow turned it into personality branding. And honestly, science still doesn't fully understand why this became so deeply rooted in human behavior. We know the mechanisms. Capsaicin triggers endorphin release after the pain response, creating a kind of relief-induced pleasure. Caffeine blocks adenosine receptors, temporarily suppressing fatigue signals. Alcohol reduces activity in parts of the brain associated with anxiety and inhibition. These substances hijack reward systems that evolved for completely different reasons. The brain learns the association. Culture reinforces it. Ritual builds around it. Eventually, the behavior becomes normalized. But knowing the mechanism isn't the same as understanding why humans embraced it so aggressively. Because from a purely evolutionary perspective, this behavior is absurd. Plants evolved chemical defenses to discourage predation. Insects learned avoidance. Mammals learned caution. Humans learned recipes. Imagine explaining this to another intelligent species. Yes, this plant causes intense pain when consumed. Then you avoid it? No, we selectively bred it to become even more painful. Or, this compound disrupts your nervous system and damages your sleep cycle. So it's dangerous? Correct. We sell it in every office building on Earth. It sounds insane because, in many ways, it is. Humans are unique not because we avoid danger better than other animals, but because we reinterpret danger psychologically. We convert biological warnings into experiences. Fear becomes thrill. Pain becomes flavor. Intoxication becomes social bonding. Stress becomes entertainment. And maybe that ability is connected to the same cognitive flexibility that allowed humans to dominate the planet in the first place. The species capable of looking at environmental threats and experimenting anyway is also the species capable of innovation. Curiosity and recklessness are separated by an extremely thin line. Still, there's something unsettling about how casual we've become with self-inflicted chemical stress. Every cup of coffee, every cigarette, every shot of tequila, every painfully spicy meal is a tiny act of rebellion against basic biological programming. The body says no. The mind says continue. No other animal does this at our scale. A deer does not intentionally seek neurological overstimulation after a difficult day. Wolves do not gather socially to consume fermented berries until they lose motor control. No animal on Earth systematically transforms survival warnings into lifestyle aesthetics the way humans do. Because evolution never prepared us for a world where toxins could become identities. Yet here we are, building routines, friendships, industries, and entire cultures around substances our bodies originally evolved to resist. Maybe that's the real story of humanity. Not intelligence. Not civilization. Not technology. Maybe the defining trait of our species is that we looked directly at nature's warning signs and decided they were suggestions instead.